want you to go back and listen to those lyrics. I didn't play that to say that I'm the man. I really want you to listen to those lyrics of what Aloe Blacc is saying.
Right.
And I want to thank these young brothers for being here today. You're going to hear them in about 20 minutes. You're going to hear their stories. You're going to ask them some questions. But I told these young men, as the young men say in the neighborhood, in the ghettos, in the barrios, keep it 100. They don't say 100. 100. And to keep it real. As I said to these young men, I am not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. I was a little black boy who grew up on the south side of Chicago, who grew up in two cultures, African American, Latino. That means I can dance and I will cut you in the center. See, that was so racist. Y'all don't laugh at that. Y'all so racist. You see, this is what happens when grown folks get together. But I am a coach. And I'm going to coach this entire process. We got some great stuff for you. We want to thank you guys on behalf of IYI and the great. Can we just clap for the IYI staff? Being so awesome. And so, again, my name is Dr. LaMarr Darnell Shields. I am every now and then, I'm going to sound like an intellectual. I teach at, I always say, the second greatest institution. Johns Hopkins University, Baltimore, because the greatest institution. I know I got some haters out there. We lost on Saturday. I went to a historically black college that I'm proud of, Grambling State University in Louisiana. And my brother right here, he went to a school that I really wanted to go to, but I looked at my grades and I looked at my mother's bank account, and Morehouse College was not letting me in the building. And so my brother Hotep was going to be speaking on Wednesday. I want you guys to support him. Again, he went to Morehouse College where Dr. King went, where Spike Lee, and all. See, he probably still paying the student loan though, because there was Morehouse. Look at him shaking his head.
True.
Still paying that student loan, but I'm a little free. But thank you guys. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you sure you're ready?
Yes.
Put your seatbelts on. I don't want you to get caught riding dirty. Let me hear them click. But because we're about to take you on a ride. This guy I love is standing behind me, who lived in Maryland, said it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And as I travel across the country, from Baltimore to Chicago to Brazil, to Haiti, to Puerto Rico, Boricua, the Mexicano, to Africa, Boricua, where my Boricuas in the building, Boricua. See, they failed Spanish class. Y'all should pay attention. All you know I say, yo quiero Taco Bell. That's all y'all know I'm saying. Can't even go into Chipotle and order your food in Spanish because you ain't pay attention to Miss Sanchez's class. So as I travel across the country, there's some things I know for sure. Boys are catching hell all over this planet. They are catching hell. White, black, and brown boys. White boys are catching hell. But black and brown boys are catching a different type of hell. Because a runny nose for a white boy is a pneumonia for black and brown boys. The symptoms are different. But again, our young men are catching hell. And I want to challenge you today. I challenge you, put on your boy perspective. Take a hard look at your school program or your agency. The decor to the staff, the policies, the procedures. Now ask yourself, what is turning boys off and tuning them and turning them out? Many of them are not coming to our programs because some of you guys got an old model. You got an old model. You got an 8-track model. See, some of y'all too young, you don't know what 8-tracks are. They're the same people that didn't know that TV went off. Remember TV went off? See, y'all don't know. He like, TV y'all know TV went off. He blown away, look at him. He like, I grew up at a time when there were 300 stations. Dude, it was like 7 stations. And then you go back in the day, you take that aluminum foil and you put that antenna and try to get that bootleg cable. I'm the only one. See, you see how they try to act all brand new? Because they got all those degrees. Don't get bougie like these people y'all get degrees. They know we only have 5 stations. And so I challenge you today, and we're going to talk about strategies to work with boys. I run a school for boys at Johns Hopkins called the Paul Robeson Academy, named after the great scholar and thespian and actor and activist who was a lawyer who went to Columbia. Show you how powerful these boys are. This brother just told me, what school you going to?
Columbia.
Say it again.
Columbia.
In what city?
New York.
Brothers, see that? Wait a round of applause. See, some of them mad because they couldn't get into Columbia. Some of them couldn't get into test college or anything like that. See, look at the haters out there. Brother going to Columbia. We don't talk about everyone else. I mentioned Columbia because that's what Paul Robeson, the guy we named after school, he went to Rutgers and he also went to Columbia. But I want you to think about this for a second. This is the challenge today. Many of our boys are not coming to our programs because they're turned off. Because we got these old models. These old models that aren't working. Let's look at some of the myths. What are little girls made of? What are little girls made of? Sugar and spice and everything nice, that's what little girls are made of. What are little boys made of? What are little boys made of? Snips and snails. I don't even know what a snip is. And a puppy dog tail. At a young age, they called us dogs. But let's look at Georgie Porgy Puddin' Pie. Kiss the girls and make them cry. When the boys come out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away. How are they describing our boys at a very young age? And we wonder why our boys, look what they say, sugar and spice. Now when I look at the numbers, and even though we talk about boys, whenever I go to these schools and I'm working with boys, they always say, the girls are the ones that are losing their minds. And ironically enough, let's look around the audience and see how many women are working with our children. Just look around the room. Look at all my ladies. And so many of us, even in this room, struggle. Many of the boys in this room struggle because I call you boys because quite often, many of us are little boys dressed up in grown men's clothing. And we too struggle in what we do. And we wonder why our boys are disconnected to us. Because many of us struggle with our own issues. And it starts early. There has been a war amongst boys and girls for years, back and forth. Back and forth. Do we invest in the girls? Do we invest in the boys? What do we do with the girls? What do we do with the boys? Boys are going to jail. Girls are going to jail. What do we do? And so this gender war has been taking place all over the country. But this is what I do know. Sitting in the same classroom, reading the same textbook, listening to the same teacher, boys and girls receive very different educations. Very different educations. See, what happens is when you, strategy number one, when you try to discipline a boy, you got to allow him to move around and walk and talk. Like this young man. Come in for a second. What's your name? Come on up here. What's your name? Adam. Hey, Adam, how you doing, man? Good, yeah. Dude, why did you throw that paper in class, Adam? What's going on? You having a bad day? Let's walk, man. What's happening? All right. What happened?
It's a bad day.
Bad day. So, I mean, can we do anything differently? You know, what should we do?
Need more food.
Let me eat this music. More food. Now, Adam, let me ask you, how does it feel to walk and talk?
Better.
See, it's much better. See, what happens is, we want to do like this. So, David, all this sitting down, David feels uncomfortable about, we'll give him Adam a round of applause. This sitting down, we want to get them to this level, but you allow these young boys to move around. That's why coaches are so great. Coaches allow these young men to move because they don't want to feel like the pressure is on them, and the pressure is. So one of the strategies when you discipline them, allow them to move around. And Adam said it, man, it felt okay to move around. But this is what happened. The miscommunication starts here. What guys say, you look nice? What girls say, thanks? That ain't always the truth. What guys mean, you look nice? What girls mean, are you sure I look nice? Because I'm not sure I was going to wear these shoes. Then I took the shoes off and I put this dress on. Then I started deciding about marriage and I just forgot it and said, I gave up on everything. How do we communicate? If all the men got up right now and walked into the bathroom, I don't care if we were having a deep conversation. Men, what happens when we walk into the bathroom? Stop talking. Look at the ladies. Y'all don't talk in the bathroom? No! That's why bathrooms are so small. You all have couches and music, massage therapists in there. You better not even answer your phone when you're in the bathroom. You better not even look at somebody on the other side. You better pay attention. I don't care how deep the conversation is. We communicate differently, so we must communicate differently with our boys. Boys have what I call a very limited emotional vocabulary. Strategy number 2. Very limited emotional vocabulary. What do I mean by that, Dr. Shields? This beautiful lady right here, we're in a relationship, me and Leslie. And Leslie says, LaMarr, how do you feel about me? And I say, you go first, because I got to think about what I'm going to say. So Leslie says, oh, you do look like Denzel Washington. And on the other side, you look like Chris Rock. And I love the way you recite your poetry. Now she says, now LaMarr, tell me how you feel about me. I said, you cool, you straight. I ain't said anything. You told your girlfriend on the way there. I Our emotional vocabulary is limited, so what do? We have to help them build that emotional vocabulary, because boys don't have the words like girls do. So boys, what do we use? We use this, Ray Rice. Ouch. We use this, Mike Tyson. Ouch. Because this is more acceptable. But ladies, what happens? You get frustrated because in your world, you live in a world full of words. My mother says, LaMarr, take out the trash. No, she doesn't. She says, LaMarr, you forgot to take out the trash. You know what happened when you forgot to take out the trash? The rats came. Now I'm sitting there thinking, okay, is Michael Vick going to jail? Is Ray Rice going to come back in the league? Because my mind has gone somewhere else. Strategy number 3, when you give directions to boys, I don't care what they look like, have them repeat it back and mirror it back to you. Because mama, this is what you do. You send me upstairs and get your purse. The purse ain't never there, is it? I come downstairs with a Game Boy I've been looking for since 1997. Then you get mad. And I'm thinking you should have taken your lazy butt up there, but I can't say it because I like to live and I want to keep my teeth. So strategy number 4, when you give directions to boys, mirror it back and don't layer their instructions, teachers. Boys say you talk too much. And you never shut up. Run them say old school. Limit your instructions. My wife telling me about a fight that took place at school. She got to tell me what the girls had on. I want to know who won. You know Keisha, I can't stand Keisha. Keisha, they wear the red dress all the time. And I'm sitting here like, who won the fight? And so boys have to learn patience. And so what happened is, that strategy 4 is about limiting your instructions. Now some of you ladies are here because you're going to take this home and try it on your husband and your boyfriends. And you're going to blame me and say, well, Dr. Shields said this. Don't give him my number and call me. And have a Dr. Phil therapy session, not on the phone, So the evidence is very clear. You know, when you look at programs that are structured for our boys, many of them are actually struggling. Let's look at my man Michael Gurry and his great book out of New York City. Males get 70% of these, make up 80% of the discipline problem, make up 70% of the learning discipline, make up 80% of those on written, 1 or 1.5 years behind girls, and make up 80% of the high school dropout rates. The reason why I wanted you guys to stand up, because we're going to celebrate you. They need to see that. They need to know that somebody is celebrating them for the good things, because quite often we celebrate boys for the bad things. If you don't believe me, I live in Baltimore, worked with Ray Lewis for the last years. I worked in his foundation, but every year they have a group of boys in box seats at the football game. These aren't the scholars. These aren't the boys that are graduating on time. These aren't the boys that are doing everything. These are the boys who are constantly in trouble. So what message did that send out to the boys that are going to Columbia? To the boys who are not making it out. We have to shift and change the message, but that has to come from you. Has to come from you. I want you to know